work, one whole day to play. Come on, everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, yeah.
Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Career Exploration Saturday. I'm your host, Ebony Tyler. I have real conversations with real people about real jobs. So this episode is dropping not on a Saturday because this is a bonus episode and I am the guest. This is actually a cross collaboration between myself and Nicolette Emerson, the host of Definitely Not For Everyone podcast. So Nicolette is my really good friend. We're mom friends. Our kids go to the same school. We actually went to the same high school, reconnected as adults. Oh, it's so wonderful. She's also been on Career Exploration Saturday as one of my very, very first early guests. She is a massage therapist and a podcaster. And on her podcast, she's doing origin stories. And she asked me to come on and to, who is Ebony Tyler? Why did I start Career Exploration Saturday? It was a really, really good conversation. It's really raw. I think you're going to learn a lot about me, what inspires me. There's a little trigger warning there. So if you don't want to hear, that part of my life, just fast forward. It's fine. Just don't ask me about it when you see me in real life because I'm not going to talk about it because I am not the sum of my experiences, the things that have happened to me. I am a fully formed human being and I've worked through all of that. But, I don't live in the past. I just look forward and I'm super excited about Liberated Success. And that's where all of my energies are concentrated. And I think you're really going to enjoy the episode. It's kind of like two girlfriends talking, but it really talks about career. I talk my career journey, and you'll learn why I'm so passionate about liberated success. So this is a bonus episode. Make sure you go and subscribe to Definitely Not For Everyone's podcast because Nicolette was instrumental in turning Career Exploration Saturday into a podcast. So big shout out to her. So you know what? Let's just jump right into the conversation.
Hey, y'all. This is Nicolette. You're listening to Definitely Not For Everyone. How y'all doing? So today's going to be a little bit different. I decided to do something that I've been wanting to do for a really long time, which is to find out origin stories of my most favorite people in the entire universe. Yes, girl. Okay, sorry. My guest is looking at me and she's all like clutching her pearls and being all cute and stuff. And so I had to be like, yes, you are number one of those people. But yeah, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to these people that I really admire, that I really love. And I wanted to know more about them because I feel like also, a lot of my guests have been on the podcast before and y'all don't really know who they are really. You know what I mean? Y'all don't know about their background. Y'all don't know where they come from and, how they, well, you do know how they think, but you know what I mean? So I was like, maybe, this would be a good idea and a good way for me to kind of introduce this particular segment of the podcast. My first guest that has said yes to this is my girl, one of the most amazing women that I know. I don't know if fantastical is a word, but she's fantastical with sparkles and rainbows and unicorns and all that shit. Miss Ebony. Miss Ebony, please say hello to your audience.
Hello. Thanks for having me back again. I feel at home.
You should. You've done it with me enough, right?
I have. It's so much fun.
All right. So let's get it in, right? So y'all have heard Ebony's voice many, many times before. She has talked about her opinions and her thoughts about things And they always make me laugh, and they always make me, think about while I'm in bed, like, oh, Ebony said that shit, and it kind of sticks with you. You know what I mean? Ebony is doing some amazing and incredible things right now. But before we get into that, I want to know about you, Ebony. Who you be? Who's your people? Where you from? Like, I mean, I know well, you know what I mean. Where you from? Like, where did you grow up? What school did you go to? Like, talk to, who were your parents? Were they together? Were they divorced? You got brothers and sisters? Tell me all things, boo.
Okay. So should I get started?
Please. Always prepared.
I am prepared. So I grew up in Brooklyn, in Flatbush. Shout out to 40th Street between H and I, the baddest block in the neighborhood. Everyone used to come from all over and used to come and play on our block. Our block was dope. One of the things that I love to tell people about our block is that everybody had a mom and dad. Everybody's mom and dad owned their homes. It was a single family home block. So we had block parties, and everybody knew everybody on the block and the people around the corner. And the biggest thing is that I want to say that I grew up on a black block, and everybody had a mom and a dad. So that myth about single parent households, it's a myth. It's a myth because everybody I knew had one. So I just really want to reiterate that. So yeah, I grew up with my mother and my father in a little house. And I had a cat, Mookie. And I was raised as an only child, but I do have a sister who is 11 years older than me. I mean, in adulthood, I have a brother. He's much younger than me. That's a whole nother story, which I am not going to share here. But I went to PS 399 in Flatbush on Rogers and Albemarle Road, and it was a Black elementary school. So I think the fact that I just grew up in Blackness grounded me in who I am. Yeah. And I had Black teachers. Like, actually, my first grade teacher was a white lady, and she was my first white teacher, but everybody in the building was Black. Like, all the teachers, like the principal, the assistant principal, we said "I am somebody" every day. We sang "Lift Every Voice" and sing every day before going off to our classes. So I mean, we even celebrated Black Solidarity Day. Remember that?
Oh my God, so long ago though.
Yes, in the 80s. Yes. Oh. Yes. Yeah, it was real. Mabel Robertson was the principal, and I feel like the assistant principal, her name was Marilyn something. I can't remember. Wow. But yeah. So that's where I guess you could say I got the foundation. Mm-hmm. And then because at that point, like when I started that school, we lived like in East Flatbush, and then my parents bought the house, and then I took a little van to 399 because they loved the school and they didn't want me in the neighborhood school. But then for junior high school, they decided to let me go to the neighborhood school, which was Huddy.
Yes, I remember Huddy.
Did you go to Huddy?
I didn't get to go to Huddy.
Where you went?
But all the cool people went to Huddy. All the super intelligent. I used to be like, you couldn't even get into Huddy because that's where smart kids went.
However, here's the hack. Here's the bull. Here's where I think the bullshit started. Is that when I was at 399, I was in, the top classes. But when I went to Huddy, who knew that the smart kids in 6th grade was at Huddy Main? I was at Huddy Annex. Nobody knew that. Well, at least my mother ain't know.
Right.
Because I was in the smart classes at the annex, not at the main.
Right.
And what I realized is that the kids who was in the smart classes at the main wound up going to Midwood, but was in the med sci and humanities program.
Right.
I was in the basic program. Basic. Right? I was in just, the regular program,
Ebony and I both went to Midwood High School. Yes.
Was you in the regular program?
Oh, yes, but
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
And I do think that the regular Midwood, it still gave you a good foundation. But I think that the kids who are in the med sci and humanities program got afforded to go to the better colleges, right? And that there was scholarship opportunities for them. And I think that the school paid more attention to those kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that the regular kids gave the school a lot more spirit. We were on the sports, we were on the other places, but not to take away from the smart kids, because there was a lot of Black cool kids in those smart programs too that, still friends with to this day. They're doing some amazing things, shout out to them. But I just feel that, who knows? I mean, I do remember being in junior year, or was it senior year? I don't know. But I remember telling my father, I was like, listen, you got to come up to school with me because I got a meeting with my guidance counselor, and she going to tell me that I got to go to CUNY school, and I ain't going to no CUNY, and this is what I want to study, and I need you to come up here with me. And he was like, all right, so we sitting in a meeting, and I say, I want to be a pharmacist, and she's like, well, your science grades aren't that good. And he started agreeing with her, and I'm looking at him like, dude, we had a whole conversation prior to this. Don't got nothing to do with my grades. You know what I'm saying? This is about where I want to go to school. But, I mean, in hindsight, they was right. But yeah, so
was like did you have any issues during like middle school or high school? Like what was like the worst thing you did in high school?
Let's go back. High school was cool. Let's go back to 6th grade. If we want to go, let's go to 6th grade. Because let me tell you, when I was in 6th grade, I used to fight every day. And when I say fight, I'm talking thumping. Like I was fighting every day. I was the new girl. Like everybody else went to, they all went to like the same elementary schools. I was new, and I used to fight. I got jumped so many times.
Oh my gosh!
On the special, on Flatbush and Kings Highway, on Nostrand and Kings Highway. Listen, chicks that I fought, I'm friends with them on Facebook now. We is cool. Like chicks that I fought, visit them. Like, yeah. But what I know, and this is what my mother told me.
Yeah.
She was like, you got to fight. You got to go back out there and fight. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, they're going to keep doing it. So I fought all the way 6th grade. And in 7th grade, no more fighting.
Okay.
So, I mean, in this day and age, I'm not advocating fighting, but I'm definitely advocating for standing up for yourself. And that if someone steps to you, you gotta, because if you don't stand up for yourself, they're going to keep coming back. They're going to keep, I mean, it's kind of how it went down.
You could ignore them.
I mean, you could do that too. But the Brooklyn is like, you gotta stand up for yourself.
And you know what too? It's like, it's different from it, like back in the day till now.
Yes.
Like people get their feelings hurt now when you ignore them. They're like, oh, I can't fuck with them because they don't react or whatever. But back in the day, they'd be like, oh, you don't see me?
Yeah. Right. But it was a different time. It was definitely a different time. It was the 90s. Yeah. Well, junior high was like the 80s.
So then after high school, like how was you said high school was amazing. Like you had a really
No, not amazing. Just like I didn't fight. It was better than junior high school.
So then what happened? Like what was your transition between high school and college? Did your father end up helping you get into the college that you wanted to go to? Or did you have to settle? Or like how did that work out?
A little bit of both. So, you know, I watched A Different World every Thursday night.
Mm-hmm, me too.
And I knew that I wanted to go to a HBCU. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And my mom's friend told her about this Black college tour. So me and her daughter went on the Black college tour together. And that was actually the first week that they closed public schools in February, back in 1994. Was it 94 or was it 93? I think it was 93. But we went on this Black college tour and we went to 9 different schools. And 2 of the schools that we went to that I wanted to go to was the University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Norfolk State. So, my best friend at the time, well, she's still my best friend, love her to death, Olympia, decided that she was going to go to Norfolk too. And we both went to Norfolk together. She left after the first semester. Mm-hmm. And I stayed, but it was so far. I didn't really want to. I went there because she was going there. My parents was like, well, it's more cost effective than going to UMES.
Right.
So then, so one day I was on the Greyhound bus coming home, and the bus from Norfolk stopped on UMES campus. Oh, this is halfway home and the bus stops on the campus.
Right.
Oh, I'm transferring.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Like literally transferred because the bus stopped on the campus, right? Like no real rhyme or reason, just a beautiful campus. This is where I wanted to go. And the Greyhound bus stops on the campus. Right. It's halfway. I'm going to transfer. Okay. So this was back in the day when you had to, write to the school to get the application packet and fill it all out. So I got the application packet, had it mailed to Norfolk, filled it out, sent it in, told my parents when they came to pick me up to bring me back to New York, we have to stop at UMES because I think I'm going to transfer. Wow. So my father was like, okay, we could go, we could visit. You can transfer. You get 1 transfer.
Okay.
He was like, if you do not like UMES, then you have to come back home and you got to go to Brooklyn College, because my father went to Brooklyn College. My mother went to Brooklyn College. Wow. We went to Midwood at Brooklyn College. It must be a good school. Why would you not be okay if you went to Brooklyn College? I was like,
no.
I was like, I will love UMES.
Yes.
I will love it.
No matter what.
I will love it. And no matter what, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I was there for 3 years and graduated.
What was the best part?
I think my friends and the campus, and the program was very small, and they were very supportive, and they definitely were into our professional development and making sure that we were solid students and making sure that we could go out into the world, and that we were prepared for the industry in which we were studying in.
What industry did you choose?
I studied rehab services. And what was so great about that program is that when I graduated, so wait, let me back up, because there's a story in here, a cute story. So in while I'm at UMES, right, in junior year, I got the idea, I should be a lawyer. I should go to law school and do disability law, right? Okay. So my father was like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So he paid for me to go to these LSAT classes. Now I had to drive an hour from UMES to Delaware to take these LSAT classes. Okay. I went, I studied. I took the LSAT on my birthday, on my 21st birthday, I took the LSAT. There was a surprise party the night before.
Oh.
Guess who didn't do well on the LSAT? Me.
Girl.
I know. So my father calls me and he was like, so your LSAT came in. I was like, okay. He was like, so do you have a plan B? I was like, yes, grad school. Yes, I'm going to go to Hofstra, grad school. So I went to Hofstra.
Okay.
But back to UMBS program preparing us so well is that the classes that I took at UMBS, I didn't have to take certain classes in grad school because they were on par with the grad school courses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I also got the rehab counseling scholarship. It was a grant, and then me and my friend from UMES, Erica, we went there together. And Shanae from UMES went there too. So it was cool. I had like my little UMES crew. We went to Hofstra together and was in the same program. So it was cool. It was cool.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Was it difficult for you to like find a job in your profession once you were all done with school, or was it easy peasy?
It wasn't hard per se, but it was definitely not the type of jobs that I thought I should be having.
So what type of job did you think you should be having?
So I worked in a group home
Mm-hmm.
with disabled adults in Great Neck. And they were developmentally disabled, and it wasn't for me.
Why?
Because so they were they had jobs, they worked, they were independent, but it was also in Great Neck.
Okay.
So if you know anything about Great Neck, Long Island, it's wealthy people. And I would give out the medication. And when the client pulled down his pants and bent over and said, "No, you have to put the cream on me," I was like, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it.
So with the degree that you had, what were your job options?
With the bachelor's degree, I had a lot of job options, but they were all like entry-level jobs into human services. So like I was a day hab specialist, I worked at the group home, I worked at I was a job coach. I bounced around.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked at a substance abuse place. I bounced around until I found like what I thought I would like to do.
Okay. And
yeah,
what do you think you'd like to do?
Well, then I mean, I got a master's in rehab counseling, and then okay, so I got a master's in rehab counseling, and then went to work at a mental health clinic in Bed-Stuy, and it was cool. It was cool. I liked it. But then like, so I used to make these referrals to the state, Vested. And this one of the counselors, he called me. He was like, "Oh, you have a master's degree and you have your CRC. We're hiring. You should put in an application." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll put in an application." So I put in an application, went on the interview process. It was like 9 people interviewing you. You don't know like if you got the job or not.
Right.
And it was for their transition unit. They started a transition unit working with high school students who have disabilities. And I was like, okay, I got the job. I was like, okay, this is cool. So now, I've got my own office. I got my little degrees up. It was in Brooklyn. It wasn't far from home. I was like, this is nice. I like it. I like this. And I stayed there for 14 years and 10 months until I didn't like it anymore.
You don't have to answer this, but it's a 2-part question. Was it what you thought it was going to be? when you
Yes.
got into the position?
Yes. It's definitely what I thought it was going to be. It definitely is. A lot of work is an understatement. Like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I saw that job break people.
Yeah.
And when I say break, I mean like emotionally break them, physically break them. People die. Like I seen it. But I did enjoy it because I did feel that I definitely had an impact. And I did enjoy working with the students and working with the families. And I was assigned to Midwood High School. I was assigned to like over 30 high schools in Brooklyn. So I really got to understand this whole educational system and career development. And while I was working there, I also worked at Queens Community House as in their Learning to Work program. I also worked at the Ali Forney Center, back to the group homes. But that was working with LGBTQIA students. And I learned a lot. A lot. And that's where I definitely honed in my counseling skills at that agency. And I had an amazing mentor, Magali Lavelle. Shout out to Magali. And she was my supervisor. And I think I'll be forever like indebted to her because she taught me so much. She supported me so much. She supported me through 2 children, a tumultuous breakup, like woo. And when she left and she got promoted to her next role, I cried. I was happy for her, but I cried. Yeah, because she's like an amazing woman and she was so supportive.
Yeah. So this is the second part. What did your job entail specifically? Like step by step. Like what did you have to do aside from the paperwork, right? Like what interpersonal stuff did you have to do?
So it's interesting that you say aside from the paperwork, because actually the paperwork is the biggest part of the job.
Oh.
And that I think is the part that overwhelms people.
Okay.
So at the highest point, I had maybe close to like almost 300 clients on my caseload.
What?
Yes. But like 200 was manageable. And when I say 200, I'm talking about I knew these kids, I knew their parents, I knew what schools they was from. I knew in my head like what was happening with them, right? And where we were going with stuff.
Right.
So the day-to-day was like you would you made your own schedule where you in the office, where you out the office. And when you're out the office, you were going to see students at their school, like doing intakes, or you were going to see them at their training programs. But like you would so being assigned to a school, you would have a relationship with something called a transition team leader. That's what they call them now. But back then it were transition coordinators. So you would have a relationship with this person who is a special ed teacher who work with the students in the high school, and they would refer them to you, which was the state, to make them eligible for services. So eligibility was based on what their disability was and if there was any type of like limitations to them being able to get employed. Then you would talk to the student about what they were interested in, and then like, do you want to go to like vocational training? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to get a job? Like, what do you want to do? And then you would look at their disability and their skill level, and then you would put that together and try to make an assessment of if you thought this person could do it based on like the paperwork that the school gave you, right, how the person presented. And then you would make like recommendations on like where you think they should go, what they should do. Mm-hmm. And you have to, so you pay, the state pays for it. So you had to like justify why you were spending money on this person based on their skill level, their disability, what they bring to the table, calculate if their family needs to calculate stuff, contribute.
Right.
And then, depending on what that student's goal was, you could work with a student for 3 months. You could work with a student for 6 years, 7 years, depending on if they were going to go to college, if they were going to go to vocational training, how severe the disability was. So I remember I used to tell kids, I've known you longer than my own children. It's time for us to break up. We have to end this relationship. What are we going to do? So yeah, that's kind of what it was. And the way you prove that you were successful with a student is that they got a job, and they call it getting a rehab, and that they had the job for 90 days.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did that for 14 years and 10 months.
So after 14 years and 10 months, what happened?
I went to another organization. Yes, I went to another organization, which actually currently employs me. Yeah. And now I'm a little deeper in supporting schools around transition services and students with disabilities. So in this role, I'm the community engagement manager, and I find resources, put together our training. Like I put together like the plan for like what our training stuff looks like. I used to work in the Bronx, now I work in Manhattan. And I've been there for almost 4 years, 3.5 years, going on 4 years.
So
not what I thought it was going to be.
Right. I'm sure you've learned a lot.
I have. I've learned a lot. And what I've learned is that I don't play politics well. I'm just about the work. I just want to work with students, work with families, bring you all the resources so that you can, make a choice. I'm not into the politics of it all.
So I know that you have started something that's really amazing. And we are going to talk about that, but not right now.
Okay.
Because I want to know, I want to try to dig deeper into your personal life, if you're okay with that. So like your personal struggles that you may have had, whether it be with husbands, children, life, the world, parents, like that kind of thing. What is your two biggest ones that you've come out?
That I've come out the darkness?
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, so all right, trigger warning. I was assaulted in front of my children by their dad. When they were little. They were like 3 and 4.
What?
Yeah. And I stayed even after that for 2 more years because I didn't want my children to be raised by a single mom, right? Even though we weren't married, so technically I still was single, right? But that whole stigma really stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And that relationship, I lost myself in that relationship. It was a very dark period for a long time because he, aside from the assault, like how can you compartmentalize an assault and then say that this person was a good father? It's kind of hard to process and to put it together. Yeah. But he did everything for the children. And when I say everything, I mean cook their meals, give them their food, bathe them, take them to school, and pick them up. Like he did everything while they were little. I went to work. Like I was the mom who had a 3-month-old and he was crying while I was trying to make food. And then I put him down and he was fine while I was holding him, and then I put him down. And then he would start crying again. I was like, oh, you want me to hold you? Oh, you want to be entertained? Oh,
all the time.
this is not for me. I'm going back to work. Not for me. Thank you. You know what? Let your grandma hold you every day, all day long, because I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Right?
Yes.
Not the one. And then my kids are 11 months apart. 16 months apart, right? So we had little babies.
Yeah.
And, my mother always says, he did the hard part. And I'm like, true. He did. Him and his family, they did. My family was there too. But like the day-to-day, all of that stuff, like I would say like, oh my God, don't leave me home with them alone. Take one. I can't have two toddlers, two babies here. Yeah. So in that sense, he was good, but then that happened, stayed for 2 years after, came back to Brooklyn, and then finally that was it.
Question. What were the red flags that you missed?
Possessiveness, controlling, thinking that moving to Harlem was a good idea when all my family and all my support was in Brooklyn. Being, 9 months pregnant, a week, about to deliver at any moment, and your mother's needs was more important than the person who actually had the baby inside and could go at any time. But you know what I'm saying? Like I say I sleep well at night because I do right by my kids. So you know what I'm saying? That's what I say. But I've forgave him for the sake of myself.
Yes.
And worked on myself because I'm also not totally, innocent in the whole process. Like I wasn't a nice person. I was very mean. Yeah, I wasn't me. I wasn't a nice person. I was mean. I was very.
Well, it doesn't matter.
No, I'm not making excuses or excusing that behavior, but I'm also saying that I also wasn't a good person. And I think that in hindsight, you can't get into relationships until you fully know who you are. You can't, it's very hard for two people who are so young, figuring out who they are in the world, what they want out of the world, their place in their family, and then getting together to make a family and not understanding that you're not a fully formed person. You're not full yet. Yeah. And looking for this person, thinking that you two are going to complete each other.
That's bullshit. All of that, you complete me bullshit. Fuck that shit.
No. I complete myself.
Oh, fucking yes.
Yes.
So my other question is this. Why did you stay for 2 extra years?
I don't know. I was scared. I was scared to take care of my kids by myself. I was scared. I didn't think that I had the power to do it.
Right.
To be able to take care of 2 human beings alone.
Yeah.
Especially they're so little, right? They need everything.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, for me, it was like, with the whole kid situation, it's like I was never around babies. Like I was never around little kids. As I grew up, like everybody grew up with me. You know what I mean? There weren't any little kids lagging behind. And so I know when I first had my first, it was definitely a panicky kind of feeling, like I'm gonna kill the baby. Like, like I don't know what I'm doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to have 2 at that, like back to back, and then with that, I'm surprised they survived. Mine, not yours.
I'm surprised a little too.
And so you left.
Yes. We broke up. Yes. It was mutual. It was like a big fight. I'm leaving. I'm never coming back. Don't come back. Nobody wants you here. It was like that.
Okay. All right. And then was it easier than you thought it would be to leave?
Actually, in hindsight, he left.
Okay. That's even better.
Right. So I had no choice.
Right.
I had no choice. Well, it was hard. It was hard for a long time. It was really, really hard. It was definitely really, really hard. Especially living in Brooklyn, taking kids to school in Manhattan, working in Brooklyn, and having to go back to Manhattan to pick them up to come back to Brooklyn for a long time. I did that shit for a fucking long ass time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I did. And I shared, I think at the last podcast that shit only stopped because Trump came in office, right? And at that point, we would take in the train,
Yeah.
I mean, but when they were younger, I had a car, so I would drive them back and forth and stuff. But that was some bullshit too.
Yeah. That is bullshit for real. So what was the second struggle that you were going to share with us?
I guess body weight,
What? Body image? Are you serious?
I've always been fat.
Oh
I've always been big. I don't know, maybe in college I was a little, not even slim, but I've always had all this.
And you did not like all of that?
No. No. Huh?
It's juicy. How could you not like
Well,
it?
now I've embraced it, but I mean, now.
So, in what way was it a struggle for you? Was it more of a struggle in terms of getting to a size that you wanted, or to change your headspace about your juiciness?
Well, first of all, it's not juicy when you got gout.
Okay.
It's not juicy when you got to get your gallbladder removed. And what I realized is that literally my health problems were related to food. I got these things because of the shit that I eat.
Yeah.
So it was actually an evolution. It was more I started gardening. Gardening led me out of depression, which led me to realizing and understanding that the food that I eat has a direct effect on my body, and that if you grow your own food, you're a little bit more in control. You also save money. So I got a little plot in a community garden. Did that for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. I'm a gardener, people. I grow my own food.
You got your dad into it too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, first of all, my father loved a project.
Okay.
And then it was so funny because the project this summer, midway through the project, he realized he was 72 and and that he couldn't build the other 2 boxes. So halfway, we have the material for 4 boxes, but we only built 2 boxes because.
So good.
Well, he tapped out. You know what I'm saying? He tapped out. But yeah, this summer I grew watermelon, basil, tomatoes, cucumbers,
nice.
Peppers. I grew that in Georgia. We should have had collard greens, but my man buried the seedlings because he decided that he needed more dirt in them. But it was fun. I need to find out what happened to the sweet potatoes, if that ever happened.
Yeah.
And we also attempted to grow cantaloupe. So growing food led me to I need to make better choices about
my, my weight. And then, real talk, I know you like to talk about sex.
It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Okay, so, I think I'm being sexy. First of all, why you got a mirror in the front and a mirror in the back? Let's just start there. Why do you have all these mirrors in here? Right? Not that I didn't know that he had those mirrors in there, but for this particular reason, I saw the mirrors. Mm-hmm. And, I was trying to get it in, and I saw just like rolls and like, man, rolls. I was like, yeah, this ain't it. And then I had knee fat, and I was like, I can't do it. Okay. So I decided to join keto. Mm-hmm. And I can be a bad friend, and I could be a selfish person. So what I did was I texted a couple of friends and basically was like, I'm going to start keto. You should do it with me. You should do, well, you kind of fat too.
Oh shit, Ebony.
Because I needed a partner. I did. Look, I tell Sil all the time that it was pure selfishness. I tell her that shit all the time.
She looked good. And so
she did, don't she? Sylvia lost 50 fucking pounds.
Wow.
Because you can't do, you can't do life alone, no matter in any different aspect. Very so true. I know, and then I'm a pure extrovert. I connect, I get my energy from people. I love people. I guess that's why I'm a counselor too. And I was like, so what we gonna do? So we did it together, and we lost weight together. But it was out of pure selfishness because I needed a partner. And to Sil's credit, she was the only friend who was like, yeah, I need to lose weight too. Let's do it.
What else did you do though aside from the keto? I know you started.
So I did keto. I did group exercise. I hung out with my friend Lucy, and she was like telling me about this exercise group, and she was like, you should come. And I went, and they were so supportive, and they were so it was all different types of body types, and people were farther along in their journey. Some people weren't, but it was like a nice support. Yeah. So I started that last year, and then again, pure selfishness. Got my friend Tasha was like, yo, Lucy put me onto this boxing dude. Yo, we should do this together. And then she was like, yeah, bet. So me and her daughter would take this boxing class together. And then so it was that and group. So I'm a group person, as you can see. Like I gotta do because it helps to hold you accountable.
Yeah, and to motivate.
Right. So we did that, and then coronavirus.
Did that affect it a lot?
Corona? No, I don't group nothing. Yeah. Like, I ain't trying to be around no more than I have a limit.
I know a Zoom group.
Okay, so I did start. So one day when I was in Georgia, I went to Georgia for 3 weeks and then came back for 2, went back. My kids were down there for 7 weeks because we were about to kill each other in the apartment with coronavirus and quarantine. It was, yeah. So I was on the phone with a friend, and I was like, oh, I need to talk to her. I haven't spoken to her in so long. And then we were on the phone for an hour, and then she was like, oh girl, I gotta go to sleep because my mom do a Zoom. My mother does a Zoom yoga. What? Zoom yoga? She was like, yeah, you should join. I'll send you the link. So since July, I've been doing yoga 3 days a week with this Zoom yoga class. And actually tomorrow's her birthday, and I'm so glad that my son's Zoom school is canceled so that we can sing happy birthday to her. Aww. So she does a free yoga class for us. Wow. 3 days a week.
That's amazing.
Free, but it's at 7 a.m. Yeah. It's at 7 a.m.
Wow. And
it's sunrise yoga.
I bet it helps with the sex, right? The yoga.
I'm very flexible. I'm very, very flexible. I'm very flexible. I'm very flexible. And now I do yoga every day because I'm very flexible.
Wow. That's amazing though, Ebony. Are you happy with all the results, all that you've accomplished in that?
Well, I did lose 40 pounds, but I gained 10 back in the Rona. Well, I lost 45 and I gained 10 back. So now I am trying to get back to where I was prior to, but I think now I'm kind of toning because I do the yoga every day. So I'm not necessarily losing any weight.
Just inches?
Yes. And I do an 18 to 20-hour fast every day.
Wow.
And then I say I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want in my fast window. So I'm not on keto anymore because carbs are very comforting in the Rona. Okay. In a pandemic and working from home, carbs are super comforting.
So, but you are doing the fasting though.
Yeah, I do the fasting every day.
Wow. Okay.
Every day. I got my app. So yeah, every day.
Wow. So wait, I'm sorry. So you only have 4 hours to eat basically?
For the most part, I have 4 to 6 hours. 4 to 6 hours.
Depending on the day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, girl. Damn. That's amazing.
Well, I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to lose. I'm doing this because I want to lose 10 pounds. I know, again, selfish. But I also want to eat what I want to eat because I'm fucking home.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I really do. I totally get it. Completely.
Like today, I felt like fish tacos.
Yeah, well, that's good though. That's not unhealthy. Oh, wait. Fried fish?
No, I put it in the oven, but then, I put hot sauce on it. I put tartar sauce. It was on a...
Tartar sauce.
I put the calories on it.
Yeah, I hear you. Girl, this today at what? I was supposed to cut off eating at 5:30. 7:30, I'm making fucking French fries for myself. It was so good.
Comforting.
It was so good.
I know it was.
Too. It wasn't like I got it from the freezer or anything like that,
Wait, you made them?
Yeah.
Oh. You was committed. Very good.
Thank you.
You put ketchup on them?
Myself, if I'm gonna fuck up my whole shit, I might as well make it the best it can be.
Exactly. That's how I feel.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So, what we have all been waiting for. I want you to talk about Liberated Success. I think it's so amazing, Ebony, that you started this. I really, really do.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy for our community. You know what I mean? That you were able to start this. So tell us about it. And then I have some questions after you tell us about it.
Okay. So actually, 8 years ago, I decided I wanted to leave my job and I wanted to work for myself. And so I had this idea and I actually started something and I started it with a friend, but it didn't work out. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put the idea to the side. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to wait until my kids are high school age.
Okay.
Because then at least it'll make, I guess the parent connection will make more sense. And also what I noticed is that during that time, I was focused on private school parents because that's the world that I was in, even though I worked in this other world. Mm-hmm. And then this time around, so last year it started, coming back. Let's do something. What do you want to do? And I love HBCUs. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm gonna plan a trip, and we're gonna go to Howard, and we're gonna go to the National Museum African American, and I'm gonna call it a journey into Blackness, and we're gonna take a day. So I did it on Yom Kippur because public school and private schools was closed, mm-hmm. And I said, I'm a bet on us, on Black people. And I said, listen, it is open to everyone who wants to come, but this is a journey into Blackness. So this is going to be Black. And it was a bus trip. And we went to Howard and we went to the museum, and all day I just couldn't believe that I actually pulled the shit off.
Right.
Like, I was fucking shocked that I pulled that shit off.
Yes.
And like, people sent their kids. I didn't even know them. And they came. So I was like, all right, okay, on to something. I got a nice little network here.
Right.
So then I started sending people resources. And then I realized people always asking me, do you know this? Do you know this? Do you know this? Do you know that? Yeah, I know some shit. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So then the pandemic happened, and I was like, what is going to happen to us and our kids in terms of internships and in terms of, you know, what's their next step going to be? Because this world is different now. Even though we still in it, it's different. And what can I do? And then all of the racial stuff that was happening, that's still happening. Not was, like, somebody just got shot yesterday, right? A mentally ill person was killed yesterday. I think his name was Walter. I said, all right, what I'm going to do. All right. So I decided that I was going to form this company. Well, I had already had Liberated Parenthood, right? Because that's the umbrella of what I did the bus trip under Liberated Parenthood. So that company already existed. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, all right, so now let's develop this a little more. Let's do this. So then I made a video one day asking people for money, and I made a GoFundMe. Because I was like, why not, right? Why not?
Yes.
Right? But prior to that, I kept having conversations with my friend Rob, and we just kept like playing with the idea and, like, you know, again, accountability, talking things through, and just knowing that we were going to meet on Mondays and stuff. So I started to get like hyper focused, and then made a video, put it up, asked people to donate, because I wanted to create this internship, and that it was going to be, I needed to raise $100,000. So that was cute. That I thought that I could raise $100,000 for internships via a GoFundMe. But what's fucking amazing is that I started a nonprofit off of a GoFundMe. That shit still fucking blows my mind. Again, how the fuck did I pull this off, right? And so the videos started as a way to ask people for money. But then I was like, this is whack. Let me focus on what I'm good at, which is counseling. And, you know, I'm really interested in people's career journey. So then I was like, all right, so I'm going to make this thing called Career Exploration Saturday. And I'm going to interview my friends about their career journey, because I want kids, parents to see that there's so many different ways to be successful. And again, over indexing on Black people, right? On Black people of color, Indigenous people of color, like, this is for us, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna make a digital project of people's stories. Mm-hmm. So my first guest was my sister, and I was like, it's my sister, she gotta say yes.
Yes.
Like literally, if you say no, I'm gonna tell mommy that you're not like supportive. So like, is this really what we want to do? So she said yes. And then I started asking friends, and Nicolette was episode 3, massage therapy podcaster. So I realized that I was onto something. Yeah. And my friend Rob, again, he said, like, so I interviewed him. He had never seen it. And it's interesting because people just like on the strength of me just came on and had never watched them. Mm-hmm. Really? Believe me, right? So he was like, listen, just be consistent. Just keep doing it. Be consistent. So we're up to episode 18. I'm taped all the way to
the second week of January. Like, I'm taped. Like, that shit is taped, done. Like, just got to make the intro and the outro. Like, we good. So then it was, all right. Well, what else do you want to do? Like, what are the services? What are we bringing to the community?
Yeah.
So Career Exploration Saturday is just one piece of it, but I also offer career counseling services. And career counseling is so that students can look at where the student is. And when I say student, that's just the name that I like to use. But a young person, right? Anywhere between 14 to 24. That's my target age. It's a 10-year gap because in those 10 years are super formative in terms of like who you will be in the world, in terms of how you're going to make your money, right? So I take them from like, where are you right now? What are you interested in? So I look at their interests and their strengths. And I really, it's the counseling sessions are designed for them to self-reflect, and I give them homework for them to be able to make a choice. And I'm bringing resources for them, and I'm pushing them to make a decision, right? It's guided counseling, but it's intentional. It's about your career. Like, what do you want to do? What are you interested in? What are you passionate in? And what is the road that we need to take to get there? What's your action plan?
Right.
So so I offer that service. So now, like, I'm a do person, but to be a nonprofit, you got to do a whole lot of other shit, which is ask people for money. Yeah. So I have a board of directors, all women, different backgrounds, and they're like, you need to focus on this. This is what we need to do right now. So this is super timely because right now we're like in the branding phase and the fundraising phase. Right. And then with nonprofits and with asking donors for money, you got to show that your people, your community, your folks, the people who know you will give you money. So we have to raise a certain amount of money. Right. And then we also have to prove that the problem that we say exists in the world, our solution works. So even though the whole goal is long-term is to be able to provide students with paid internships and gap year experiences, we also have a small project that will help us prove that our work works. So right now we're trying to raise $10,000 so that we can have a small cohort of students who will work with a industry mentor to solve a workplace challenge, and then we give them a stipend. Because I fundamentally believe that young people bring so much to the table. So even if they're not your employee, their ideas can contribute to push your work forward. So they need to be compensated for that shit, right? Like, how many people, and when I say people, I really mean white people, are able to just take a unpaid internship to get experience, to put that shit on their resume, and they don't have to worry. But our kids need money for, I'm in college and I want to buy books. I need to buy clothes, whatever the hell they need to buy their money for. It's really actually none of our business what they spend their money on, but they need money. So I'm raising money to be able to pay students to participate in a stipend-based program. Right. And I got people that want to do this, right? And then also, again, knowing and feeling that our young people need to see themselves and be reflected, right? In the professionals. I got people on deck that are BIPOCs that want to be a part of this, but I don't want to recruit students and don't have the money to pay them. Right. So that's where we are with things. So we were approved last month by New York State to be a nonprofit. We have our 501c3 or 53c. Look, obviously, you know, I didn't put the shit together because I don't even got the title right. I got a treasurer for that. Okay. I got somebody, right? Kim, shout out to Kim. So she, you know, we got our paperwork in the IRS, so we're waiting for that. And then we is good money. Like, and then the next step is that we need to raise this money to show that this is what we can do, so that then we can start competing and trying to get grant money.
Wow, that's a lot, Ebony.
It's a lot of fucking work, and I do that shit after I log off and on the weekend.
It is a lot of fucking work, but I'm sure it's rewarding.
It is rewarding. I like it. I'm learning a lot. And I mean, if this is for us, like this is my part of the revolution. This is what I can contribute.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, right? Why did you decide to do this? Why this particular thing? And I ask because, I mean, is it because, like, was there something lacking that you noticed, you know, that made you come to the conclusion that this is what our community needs right now, period? Like, what was it?
Well, in New York City, the whole hustle and bustle about schools, the rat race, some bullshit. Like, every child in New York City deserves to have an amazing education.
Yes.
And they deserve to have the resources, and they are lacking in our community. And I also want us to rethink gap years. Like, college gonna be there. It's not going nowhere. It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I also want parents to know that college also is not the end all and be all. And that if your young person decides that they don't want to go to college, you are not a failure as a parent. That child is not a failure as a student. That's maybe just a choice right now. Or maybe it's too much shit on their plate. Maybe they need a minute to breathe. Maybe no school has spoke to them and they don't know what's out there. So let's take a minute and figure that shit out. Because other people get to bounce across, gallivant all over to find themselves. Why can't our kids find themselves?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I want, and then also, why can't we focus and actually help them devise a plan?
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And the schools can't do it themselves. They can't. You can't rely totally on the school.
I realize that.
Because a conversation with a guidance counselor can literally change your financial trajectory of your family.
Totally.
Is that what you want? You want somebody else making decisions for how much money you're going to make?
Definitely not.
Just saying.
Yeah, no, for real. I have another question.
What's up?
Where does that spirit of, yeah, I could do that, and yeah, I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be good, like, where does that come from? Does that come from your parents? Does that come from your schooling? Like, where does that come from for you, do you think?
Okay, so it's a combination of a couple of things. It definitely comes from saying for 5 years, I am somebody, I can achieve. Like, that shit is just in you, right? So it comes from that. It definitely comes from being at an HBCU and understanding that service and you have an obligation to take care of your people. It comes from that. It definitely comes from working for the state and doing a job of 3 people that you literally think that you can do anything. Like, literally, like my friends who still work there, like, you can't outwork us. Like,
yeah,
it is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is light work. You know what I mean? Like, not for nothing, like my job now, I bullshit all fucking day because it's light work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's light work. It's light work.
Huh?
You're used to a heavy load.
This is what I'm saying. And I do believe that at 42, or am I 43? I did have a birthday. I'm not sure. Once you start saying it, you know what I'm saying? I'm 43. 43.
Yes.
Definitely at 43, I'm not doing a whole fucking lot for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do a whole lot for me and for my people.
Yeah.
When my ideas and all of that shit is not really valued, or it's taken and it's remixed and it's something else, and they want you to show up this way and that, all of that, I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. I'm gonna focus over here. So I guess that's where that spirit comes from. And then I guess also it's tired of working for fucking incompetent people.
I hear that. Or tired of working for other people, period.
Yeah. And like, if the only thing that I could learn from you is some bullshit on like how to remix some shit, or, you know, I ain't really doing nothing, but I'm gonna make it look like I'm really doing, this is not where I should be.
Yeah.
Right? Because my values are not aligned with what your values are.
Right. Totally. Yep. So where do you want, this sounds like such a corny question, but like, what is liberated success gonna be in like 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Well, I would like to. So I'm creating the model, right? Like, this is the model, this is the blueprint. Like, New York City is going to be the blueprint of what we do here, and then I want to replicate it in Delaware and Atlanta, because that's where my family lives. So that's what I want to do. I
love that. It's gonna be amazing, and it's gonna happen. I can feel it in my bones. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be.
Folks, in order for this to happen, I need this money.
Yes, and you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. Are you kidding me? Like, there's no doubt, mama. No doubt at all.
I mean, Nicolette, you have been my biggest supporter. You have, like, you stay shouting me out.
But you know why? Because I think it's important. It aligns with all of who I am and what I believe.
Aww.
Definitely. And and I love you. You know, I think you're really, truly amazing. You know,
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
On what I was gonna say, like, before we started talking, and I was gonna talk about superheroes and all this shit, you know, and for real, like, you know, I'm lucky that I have superheroes that are my friends. Definitely.
Thank you so much. Wow.
For real. I really do feel that way. So I have one last question for you before we head out.
Okay.
And you know what this question is, because I sent it to you by text like 2 hours before we started the the thing. Which, what would you tell, if you can write a letter or call up on the phone your younger self, what would you tell them? What would you tell her?
The boys can wait. The boys can wait. The men, they can wait. They can wait. Like, you need to be super focused about like that energy that you was putting into him, to those relationships. That's not important. Like, because the men, like college, the men gonna be there, right? Focus on your dreams and what and start backwards. What's the life that you want to create, and then work to create that life. Like, visualize what you want to be and then create. Because a lot of the things that I did, as you can see, was just like, oh, well, I'll just do that. Like, oh, I'll just do that. Like, I literally just bumped into like everything.
Right.
It wasn't like super focused. Like, I didn't know, you know, what I wanted to do.
Right.
I wasn't intentional. I was just like,
I guess I'll do that.
I guess I'll do that. That sounds like a good idea. It's not a bad idea, right? It's not a bad idea.
But look where you turned. Look at you now, though, with all of those twists and turns, and you just being like, okay, well, that sounds like a good idea. Like, it sounds to me more like you were just following your own path, like not a path that was planned out, but a path that was already ready and waiting for you. Does that make sense? Does that sound weird?
A little bit. Oh, I would definitely tell my younger self, learn how to budget, learn how to handle your money.
Girl, yes. Definitely that for me too.
That's what I would do. That you should have bought that apartment when your father, you should have bought that. Like, those are the things that I would tell myself. The boys can wait, and make sure you about your business, your money, and be a little bit more focused in your career and what you want to do in terms of that. That's what I would tell my younger self.
I love that, Ebony. That was perfect.
Thank you, Nicolette. I love you too. I'm so glad that like we reconnected. Like, and it's so weird. It's not even like we reconnected. We like bumped into each other again, just bumping in. Like, wow.
It's all supposed to be what it is.
Literally, it's supposed to be what it's supposed to be, right?
I totally feel that way. Is there any last things that you want to tell the audience? The one thing I want to say is give Liberated Success all your money, like all your money.
Oh, yes. This is what I want to say. All right.
Please.
Subscribe to my Patreon channel. We have different levels, $5, $10, and $15. Subscribe to my Patreon channel. That way you can feel like you're getting some content from me. Subscribe to Career Exploration Saturday on YouTube. It's actually my name, Ebony Tyler. So subscribe to that. And if you see my stuff, like it, repost it, help me out with the Facebook algorithms and stuff, leave a comment, tell me if it was good. I open my comments. I used to have my comments closed because I was like, I don't want any feedback. It is what it is. You will go out. You will appreciate my art the way I put it out there. But now I'm open to comments.
Good.
Yes. It only took 10 weeks.
You've only been doing it for 10 weeks.
No, I've been doing it for 19.
Thank you. Yeah. Because I was like, wait a minute.
No, but it took 10 weeks for me to open the comments.
Oh, okay. All right. Definitely not for everyone, listeners. Thank you so much. I love y'all so much. Thank you for listening, for supporting. I appreciate it from the depths and breadths of my soul. I really do. I love doing this thing, and I love this Miss Ebony here. And please support her as best as you are able to, whether that's like a whole lot of money, which I suggest, or sharing her posts, which I always do, liking, commenting, all of that stuff. I know she already said it, but I'm gonna say it again. So also we could continue the conversation. We're gonna be posting it up. So if you want to make any comments, if you have additional questions for Ebony, like, you're more than welcome to, put that out there. And I'm sure she'll be happy to answer them. If you need any help also, like, hit up the DMs and the comments and all of that. That would make us actually really, really happy. So I guess I'll see y'all next week, huh? Love y'all. Say bye, Ebony.
Bye.
Bye.
What'd you think? I don't have no takeaways. Nicolette, thank you so much. Thank you for pushing me to do this. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for just being an amazing friend. Listen, folks, you need to follow Nicolette Emerson because she has opened up a massage spot in the city, and you definitely want to get a massage. Yeah. Feeling a little tense right here, right? Okay, so she's tagged in this video, so make sure you check her out. Also, I want to let you know that next week I will be doing Meet the Board. It's going to be part of our annual give campaign because, you know, we are nonprofit, so we got to ask for money all the time. And also, I want you to just really know that there's some dynamic women behind me who are making Liberated Success go. It's not just me. I'm not a one-woman show. So I really want you to meet them. So please make sure that you follow the Liberated Success account on IG and on Facebook and on Twitter so that you can find out who they are and why they joined Liberated Success. So that's going to be happening next week with our end of year giving campaign for Giving Tuesday. So, you know, if this resonates with you, show us some love with a donation. Every little bit counts. We have a goal that we're trying to reach so that we can do our impact project and, you know, really show that our work is impactful to our community and that we just not out here talking. We about that. So please show us some love with a donation. Show us some big love with a donation next week for our Giving Tuesday campaign, our end of year requests. So look, I'm not going to keep you long. You know what we do. We save ourselves. We wear our masks. We wash our hands. We physically distance. And all Black Lives Matter. All right. See you next week. I hope you enjoyed this.
One whole day to play. Come on, everybody.